I really do feel like you'd be hard-pressed to find a shot that could sum the Mavericks season up better than this one right here.
2 seconds left. The Cavs are out of timeouts. They have to go 94 feet. Strus from midcourt. Oh! Do you believe this?
Whoa! My goodness!
Max Strus from midcourt has won it for the Cavaliers.
Every single season, I've bought into whatever the Dallas Mavericks are selling. And that's not just because Mark Cuban is a marketing genius and I've loved Shark Tank. I've bought into whatever the Mavericks are selling because of the generational talent that resides in Dallas that is Luca Doncic. And at least as of late, more often than not, I am left scratching my head trying to figure out where things went wrong for this team. And that just doesn't feel right. It feels like just yesterday that this team was smashing expectations and narratives en route to making the Western Conference Finals.
Under a minute to go here in the first half. Stunning. 27-point lead. Down goes Johnson. 3. Luca. Bullseye.
Oh, no.
They're shredding him.
Oh, no, he didn't.
It's like the Dallas Mavericks used up all their power in one giant spirit bomb to make those Western Conference Finals in 2022. Because ever since they made those Western Conference Finals, they have been the literal definition of average. That is, if you are going by their record. After making the Western Conference Finals in 2022, the Dallas Mavericks would win 72 games, but unfortunately, they would also lose 72. The Mavericks' 72-72 record in their last 144 games would usually put a team where no NBA team wants to be, which is NBA purgatory. Now, the difference between the Mavs and any team that is painfully forever mediocre is that the Mavericks have a generational player in Luca Doncic. I don't care who is on the floor. I don't care who laces them up. Whatever the circumstances, whenever you have a Luca Doncic, you have a chance. But the thing is that Luca doesn't like to lose, and losing is exactly what the Mavs have been doing. The frustration in Dallas has been mounting for Luca and this Mavs team. March 5th against the Indiana Pacers, Luca Doncic would drop a 39-point, 10-rebound, and 11-assist triple-double. And yet, the Mavs would still walk away with an L. A theme that has become far too familiar for Mavs fans this season. Here's what Luca had to say when he would be asked about his legendary triple-double performances still resulting in L's.
Look, you're putting up monster numbers, 3 straight 35-point triple-doubles, and you guys are losing. I mean, how frustrating.
It doesn't matter, I just want to win, man. That's it.
Guys, Luca Doncic is averaging 34.6 points, 9 rebounds, and 9.8 assists this season. This man should be wondering where he's going to put his MVP trophy, not fighting trying to avoid the play-in tournament. This season, Luca has been going bonkers. This man has been on a completely different level. So while Luca has been going bonkers this season and has been on this completely different level, sometimes I do wonder how much his attitude when things aren't going his way does affect this team. 2022 Luca would acknowledge this problem while saying that he'd stop whining, but yet the problem has persisted. His defense this season has worried me also. At times it's felt like he's been doing his best James Harden impression. And in this situation, I'm not referencing the good James Harden that has been more than capable of getting stops. I'm referencing the memeable one that just stands around. But yeah, as I said earlier, the Mavericks do have much bigger problems than Luca Doncic. With the Mavericks dropping yet another game, they would fall to being 1-5 in their last 6, virtually erasing the 7-game win streak that took place before their poor skid. Which, during that streak, the Mavericks would beat some quality opponents like Phoenix and Oklahoma City. What that 7-game streak showed me is that the Mavericks do have the talent to be much better than they are, and that the trades that they made ahead of the trade deadline, acquiring Daniel Gafford and PJ Washington, at least made sense. Which, as you guys know, is all that I ask for when a trade goes down that doesn't involve my favorite team. All I ask is that I can at least see the vision. Like I said, the Mavericks trading for PJ Washington and Daniel Gafford at least made sense. But sometimes, trades that make sense can only do so much for your team, especially when there's a fundamental problem that exists. And in this instance, the problem that I'm referencing is Jason Kidd, the Mavericks head coach. Which, don't get me wrong, everything isn't Jason Kidd's fault. but he certainly hasn't been helping the Mavericks cause as of late. In the last 6 games that the Mavericks have played, they are 24th in points allowed. They are dead last in defensive rating, and they are 29th in net rating. It's no wonder that we've been seeing a Luca Doncic that is incredibly frustrated. While Coach Kidd wants accountability from his players, we haven't necessarily seen him demand that out of his players, if that makes any sort of sense. Here's a reminder that Jason Kidd has actually said before that I'm not the savior here. I'm not playing, I'm just watching just like you guys. Now, he finished that quote off by saying that as a team, we've got to mature and we've got to grow up. But yeah, the point remains, Jason Kidd has been far from perfect when it's come to this Mavericks team. One thing that I've seen Kidd do a lot this season is load players up with minutes who are regularly hurting the team. And then he makes things worse by not rewarding the guys who are trying to help his team win. If I have to watch Daniel Gafford get punished again for playing well after a first was used for him as others struggle and gobble up minutes, then I'm going to be sick. Gafford has his faults, but he has consistently brought energy and defense to a team that has really needed it. Which, if you asked Gafford what was wrong with this team's defense, he would tell you that it's as simple as this team's overall effort and communication. If you ask me, these problems sound eerily similar to the same problems that were plaguing the Bucks before Doc Rivers was hired. Is this also a bad time to bring up that after Kidd was fired in 2018, the Bucks would go on to unlock their full potential? Let's backtrack to when Kidd was fired in 2018 and see if any of SB Nation's reasons for his firing sound relatable to this Dallas Mavericks situation. Reason number 1, Bucks management didn't believe that they could win with Kidd. Reason number 2, Milwaukee had a terrible defense. Reason number 3, he was making excuses for the Bucks' age. Reason number 4, he had issues with Jabari Parker. Reason number 5, the Bucks were straight up underachieving. Let's stop it right there. I've seen all that I need to see. If I'm the Dallas Mavericks, I would consider firing Kidd just to see what another coach would be able to do with what we have. If the Mavericks weren't able to make a deep playoff run this season, the least that they could do is see what players were struggling because of Kidd's system and what players were just overall bad fits next to Luca Doncic and Kyrie Irving. What the right coach could do for a team should not be understated in this situation. When the Bucks hired Coach Bud after Kidd, they became a 1 seed and a perennial playoff team, and I mean, we all know what happened next. The rest is history. As somebody who thought that Coach Bud's time in Milwaukee was up when he got fired, I actually wouldn't mind seeing what he would be able to do with Luca Doncic, Kyrie Irving, and this Dallas Mavericks team. Mavs fans, you guys have to understand that I'm rooting for you guys. The last thing that I want is for Luca Doncic and this team to miss the playoffs again, especially after what they pulled last year, which Luca really wasn't a big fan of. It still blows my mind that the Mavericks were able to tank their way to Derek Lively. I wanted that guy so bad for my Pelicans, man, you guys have no idea. Anyways, guys, let me know what you think it would take from the Dallas Mavericks to get this season on the right track. Clicking the video on the screen right now is a great way to support my channel. I'm GetLikeCoop, bringing you guys the scoop until our next upload.